Hello everyone. OpenAI just dropped its new device as CES 2026 is ongoing. And honestly, the more you look at it, the more interesting it gets. It's called Gumdrop. Weird name, I know. But basically, it's supposed to be a screenless, pen-shaped AI gadget that OpenAI is working on. And the thing is, it's not meant to replace your phone or your laptop. It's meant to sit alongside them, almost like a third core device. Gumdrop is described as pen-shaped, roughly comparable in size to an iPod Shuffle, tiny, pocketable, something you could clip to a lanyard, drop in a bag, or just keep on your desk. And there's no screen at all, which already tells you a lot about what OpenAI is trying to do. Basically, this isn't another glass rectangle. This isn't a mini phone. It's more like a physical embodiment of ChatGPT, something that listens, sees, and talks back to you. And this is where it gets interesting. Insiders say Jony Ive's design team is involved, and Sam Altman himself has described the device as something that should feel simple, beautiful, and fun. If you put those two things together, you can kind of imagine it already. A smooth metal cylinder, matte aluminum, or maybe ceramic coated, very clean, very minimal, probably black or white, no clutter, no obvious interface, just an object. The thing is, early reports even compare it to a polished stone or a high-end AI pen. One leak says it might hang around your neck like an ID badge. That's how small it is. And despite that size, it's supposedly packed with sensors. So now the obvious question is, how does a screenless pen actually work? Well, what this means is connectivity becomes everything. Now, Gumdrop has to be online all the time, and while nothing is officially confirmed, every leak points to wireless connectivity. Wi-Fi for sure, Bluetooth almost certainly, and probably tight pairing with your phone or laptop. One source explicitly mentions two-way communication via a paired smartphone or other device. So basically, Gumdrop isn't operating in isolation. It's talking to your phone, your Mac, your home network, possibly even directly to the cloud. Whether it has its own cellular modem or not is still unclear. No one's confirmed LTE or 5G. But if OpenAI wants this thing to respond in real time, fast connectivity is non-negotiable. Now, analysts have already flagged this as one of the biggest challenges. Battery life, connectivity, data privacy, those three things keep coming up over and over again. And battery life in particular is tricky because think about it, guys. This thing is iPod Shuffle sized. There's only so much battery you can fit in there, and no leak has mentioned capacity or runtime. But we can infer a lot. It's rechargeable, almost certainly lithium ion, and it's going to need aggressive power optimization. The thing is, we've already seen how badly this can go wrong. Look at the Humane AI pin. It had about 4 hours of battery life, and reviewers absolutely destroyed it for that. So Gumdrop either needs much more efficient chips, or it's going to be a daily charge device, maybe even multiple charges a day if you use it heavily. So realistically, don't expect week-long endurance. Expect something you charge overnight, maybe via USB-C, maybe via a magnetic puck. Some concept leaks even show it sitting next to a tiny charging dock. Now let's talk about what this thing can actually sense, because this is where Gumdrop starts to feel less like a gadget and more like an ambient observer. Leaks are very clear on this point. It has a microphone, and it has a camera, in fact likely multiple microphones, possibly a small camera array. The idea is that it can hear your voice and see the world around you. Basically, the camera can scan your handwritten notes or recognize objects in your environment. The microphones pick up your voice commands and possibly ambient context. One analysis even describes it as an environmental monitoring system. That sounds dramatic, but it fits. It's meant to understand what's happening around you, not just respond to a wake word. And yes, handwriting capture is a big part of this. Every report mentions converting handwritten notes into text. So imagine writing something down on paper, and at the same time, the pen is digitizing it and sending it to ChatGPT, almost like a supercharged live scribe pen, but backed by a large language model. The thing is, that probably means it's always at least partially listening and watching, which immediately raises privacy questions. And this is where it gets interesting again, because leaks suggest OpenAI is aware of this problem, Analysts speculate there will be hardware-level safeguards, local wake word detection, on-device processing for sensitive tasks, the idea being that it's not constantly streaming your life to the cloud. But still, an always-on mic and camera is going to make a lot of people uneasy. Now, under the hood, Gumdrop is not supposed to be a dumb accessory. This isn't just a Bluetooth microphone. Multiple sources suggest it has real compute inside, actual AI chips. Basically, OpenAI is rumored to be working with Broadcom on custom neural processing units. These NPUs would handle low-latency tasks locally, things like wake word detection, speech recognition, basic intent parsing, and then for heavier reasoning, it would fall back to the cloud, likely Azure, given OpenAI's infrastructure ties. So what this means is a hybrid edge cloud design. Some thinking happens in the pen, deeper thinking happens remotely. That's important because you can't have a conversational device that waits seconds for every response. Latency kills the experience. And speaking of conversation, this is arguably the core of the entire device. Its leaks mention a speech model called GPT-Realtime. And the key idea here is speech-to-speech interaction, not speech-to-text-to-speech, just speech in, speech out in one continuous loop. So basically, Gumdrop can listen and talk at the same time. It can interrupt you. You can interrupt it. It can respond mid-sentence. It can pick up on emotional cues in your voice. The goal is sub 200 millisecond latency, so it feels natural. The thing is, that's a huge shift from how assistants work today. Right now, assistants wait for you to stop talking, process, then respond. This would be more like a real conversation, more like talking to a smart colleague than issuing commands. Now let's talk software because this part is kind of wild. Rumors say Gumdrop won't run iOS. It won't run Android. Instead, it has an AI-native operating system. Internal names like OWL or Atlas OS have leaked, and the philosophy is very different from traditional OS design. Basically, the large language model is the interface. There are no apps in the usual sense. Instead, the system creates what are described as agentic workspaces. The AI decides how to complete tasks. It browses, calls APIs, pulls data, and then reports back to you by voice. So if you say, "Summarize my notes," the OS doesn't open an app. The model figures out what that means, grabs what it needs, processes it, and speaks the result. Language isn't just input, it's the operating system. And for developers, that means building tools and skills instead of apps. Voice-first integrations, agent-based workflows. Some reports even suggest OpenAI is already courting developers for this ecosystem. Now, how does Gumdrop fit into your existing setup? OpenAI has been pretty clear, at least indirectly, that this is a companion device, a third device, not a replacement. It pairs with your phone. It works alongside your laptop. Your phone still handles screens, long text, charts, visual output. Gumdrop handles real-time interaction. So imagine this. You're writing notes on paper. The pen digitizes them. Your Mac shows the cleaned-up text. Or you're walking and asking questions out loud while your phone quietly handles connectivity. Gumdrop becomes the front end. Your other devices do the heavy lifting. And this is where the supply chain leaks come in. Manufacturing is rumored to be handled by Foxconn, same company that builds iPhones, same scale, same polish. On the silicon side, Broadcom keeps coming up. On the design side, OpenAI has effectively absorbed Jony Ive's team, LoveFrom, former Apple engineers. Apple-level industrial design without Apple branding. Cloud side, Microsoft and Azure are still involved, but reports say Microsoft doesn't control the hardware. OpenAI is free to build this device how it wants. So when you put all of this together, the picture becomes pretty clear. Gumdrop is a small, screenless AI pen. Designed by Jony Ive's team, built by Foxconn, powered by custom AI chips, always listening, occasionally seeing, paired with your phone, talking to the cloud, running an AI-native OS, focused entirely on conversation and context. But, and this is important, none of this is officially confirmed. No spec sheet, no battery numbers, no exact launch date. Most rumors point to 2026 or 2027, and privacy is still the elephant in the room. I would say that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, give a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Until next time, bye for now.